A child's toy floated in orbit, half-melted plastic in the shape of a bear. It drifted lifelessly between twisted wreckage, colliding softly with the shattered remains of a school transport's hull. No screams, no alarms. Just silence. The 77 million children who once laughed, ran, and dreamed across the human colonies were gone. Their playgrounds now debris fields. Their bedtime stories ended mid-sentence. And Earth said nothing. No retaliation. No press conference. No fury on the intergalactic stage. Just silence. Until something began to move in the dark. Commander Aaron Voss stood in a chamber carved into the hull of the Revenant, a dreadnought parked deep inside a black hole's gravity well. It was a place no sane civilization would look, unless they were trying to disappear. The room was steel gray, cold and bare. No ornaments, no flags, no sign of human culture, except for one cracked photograph nailed to the wall beside the door. A woman and 2 children. Smiling. Frozen in time. Aaron's eyes locked on the photo as he adjusted the straps of his armor. Black reinforced polyfiber, designed to reflect zero light. No insignia. No name. A soft chime pulsed in his neural implant. Commander Voss, came the voice of Admiral Reeves. Authorization granted. Operation Cindercross is green. He didn't answer right away. Just stared at the photo a moment longer, then turned. Who's the target? He asked quietly. Reeves' voice came through with a chill. Grand Inquisitor Malviction. Fortress Moon Carzon Theta. You know the rest. Aaron nodded once. I'll need a team. 3, Reeves replied. Pick your monsters. In the war room below the Dreadnought's reactor core, Aaron reviewed the roster of candidates. He spoke little. Only watched. Studied. Measured. First, Dahlia Rain, a sniper from the Andean low-orbit colonies. Eyes enhanced by a neural optic symbiote, she hadn't missed a shot in 5 years. She wore silence like a second skin. Second, Milo Avers, known by his call sign Rat. A digital saboteur who grew up on Broken Station scavenging code. He grinned through every file he cracked and made machines scream in binary. Third, Unit 07. No name. No past. A prototype synthetic human blend with spliced neural architecture and emotional dampening. Built not for combat, but terror. Aaron looked at all 3 and spoke calmly. We don't engage unless necessary. No noise. No mercy. Target dies, and we erase the evidence. Understood? Rat smirked. Ghost job. I like it. Dahlia nodded. Unit 07 blinked once, then said, Understood, Commander. Kill. Silence. Burn. Later, alone in the launch bay, Aaron waited beside the disguise freighter that would carry them to the enemy's heart. He pulled the photo from his pocket. Thumbed over the corner, where a smear of soot had stained the edge. The last time he saw his children, they were boarding a transport on Ferris 3. It was a refugee shuttle. Packed. Loud. His daughter had waved through the window, her hand against the glass. Her name was Myra. When the transmission arrived hours later, static, then screaming, he stopped breathing. He hadn't started again since. A hiss of decompressing air brought him back. Dahlia approached from the shadows. Fuel loaded. Jump coordinates are locked. Aaron nodded. We move in 30. She lingered. You ever think about it? She asked. What? Whether we're still human. He stared into her mirrored lenses. Humanity isn't soft. It adapts. Dahlia scoffed. That's one way to put it. As the freighter detached and slipped into the void, the Revenant vanished behind them, cloaking into the darkness like a disappearing ghost. Inside the cargo hold, the team sat quietly. No light. No speech. Only the quiet hum of energy cycling through their armor. Rat broke the silence first. You ever hear the stories the aliens tell now? About us? Unit 07 tilted its head. Specify. Boogeymen. Shadowwalkers. There's a Zalthian nursery rhyme warning children that if they misbehave, the humans will come with blades made of screams. Aaron didn't smile. But Rat did. You think it's funny? Dahlia asked. Rat shrugged. They wanted monsters. We gave them legends. Outside, the stars shifted as the freighter slid past patrol beacons and enemy tracking systems. Tarzan Theta loomed ahead, massive, spherical, wreathed in rotating spikes and planetary-scaled defense grids. It was a world-sized execution platform, home to the Empire's Grand Inquisitor and the ideological center of the Purity Doctrine. Billions lived and worked there, many unaware of the slaughter they enabled. Many, but not all. The ship creaked as it adjusted orbit to dock in a mining bay. Voss rose. He checked his blade, void steel, silent and impossibly sharp. He checked his implant. All systems green. He looked at his team. This isn't just vengeance, he said. This is message. They made extinction a tool. Now we make fear a weapon. Unit 07 blinked. Protocol engaged. The freighter slipped into Tarzan's underbelly. It made no noise, triggered no alerts. And as the four shadows stepped into the belly of the Empire, the silence returned. But this time, it didn't come from grief. It came from death, following closely behind. The Tarzan Theta docking bay was industrial and dim. No guards. Just drones and conveyor systems, looping in monotonous silence. Dahlia dropped first, sliding from the freighter's side hatch. She moved like vapor, rifle unslung, eyes scanning through infrared overlays. A pair of Zalthian workers stood idly at the far end. Before they noticed the shimmer of movement, Dahlia had fired, 2 silent kinetic pulses straight through their skulls. They crumpled without sound. Bay clear, she said into comms. Aaron followed, blade drawn, steps quiet despite the weight of his armor. Behind him, Rat carried his deck slung across his back, fingers already flexing in anticipation. Unit 07 emerged last, eyes scanning with eerie calm. Its feet never made a sound. Entry point? Aaron asked. Rat pointed. Service hatch behind the coolant tanks. I'll loop the surveillance first. He knelt beside a console, fingers dancing across its alien interface. Glyphs flickered, twisted, then vanished. Cameras are blind, he said, grinning. Let's give them nightmares. The service corridors of Tarzan Theta were narrow and humid, lit by a pale green glow from biosynthetic moss running through the walls. The team moved in a column, Dahlia forward, Voss center, Rat middle, Unit 07 rear. Aaron kept the path memorized. They were headed for the Sanctum Core, 5 kilometers down, deep in the moon's heart. That's where Malviction operated. Where he preached sterilization and sanctioned genocide. Where he dreamed of emotionless conquest. And it would become his tomb. They bypassed patrols without engagement. Rat occasionally tapped into control panels, leaving trails of broken code that looped visual feeds. In several halls, Dahlia tagged pulse grenades above ventilation shafts, timed to simulate ghost fire and scream echoes. The more confusion, the better, she said flatly. They'll think the base is cursed by the end of this, Rat added. That's the point, Aaron replied. In one corridor, they found a cluster of young Zalthian officers, barely trained. Unit 07 struck first, launching into the air, descending with bone-snapping efficiency. Aaron followed, blade cutting through 2 before the rest could scream. One was left alive, pinned beneath a steel conduit, trembling. Aaron knelt beside him. The alien's pupils expanded with primal terror. What are you? It stammered. Aaron leaned in, his voice low. Tell your Inquisitor, the Boogeyman is real. He stood, turned, and left the Zalthians sobbing on the floor. They descended deeper. The air turned colder, lights flickering. The base grew more silent the further they went, not from lack of life, but from its growing fear. Dozens had already fled stations. Some had shot themselves. One locked himself in a storage unit and refused to come out. Terror spread faster than bullets. Near the core's boundary, they found it, a door marked with Zalthian sigils. Rat scanned it and paused. This isn't military. It's black science, closed sector. The stuff they don't report to anyone. Aaron nodded. We go in. The doors slid open with a hiss. What lay beyond wasn't a lab. It was a chamber of horrors. Rows of containment pods lined the walls, inside them, human children. Cloned. Dissected. Neural monitors wired into their brains. Replays of screaming. Some were real. Some were simulations. God, Dahlia whispered. Rat backed away, bow rising in his throat. They were trying to map the fear centers, he said, voice cracking. They studied how children process terror. They trained soldiers on it. Unit 07 tilted its head. Purpose: inoculation against human psychological warfare. Aaron stared at the largest pod in the center of the chamber. Inside, a child-sized mannequin fitted with a halo of needles blinked on and off. They didn't just fear us, he said. They tried to steal our madness. He walked to the central console and pulled the drive loose. The screens dimmed. No survivors, he said. Dahlia nodded. Charges placed. 5-minute burn. As they exited the lab, the lights across the facility pulsed red. All sectors locked, Rat said. They know we're here. A voice filled the corridors, grating, proud. So, humanity sends its ghosts to bleed on my doorstep. Malviction. I expected ships. Bombs. War. Instead, you slither like cowards through my sanctum. Aaron didn't flinch. But now I see. You are not warriors. You are beasts. And I will study you, one piece at a time. Unit 07 paused. Path to central chamber is restricted. We punch through, Aaron said. No stealth. We finish this. They moved with purpose now. Stealth replaced by momentum. Aaron led, blade carving a path through armored guards and robotic sentries. Dahlia picked off snipers as she ran, not breaking stride. Rat overloaded doors, melted turrets, left feedback traps that killed operators through their neural links. Unit 07 leapt over barricades, crushing chests and snapping necks with terrifying precision. They reached the corridor before the core vault, sealed shut with 4 kinetic locks. I need 30 seconds, Rat said. You have 15, Aaron replied. Dahlia crouched near the door, spotting a ripple of motion. Contact left side. A blast shook the floor. Unit 07 covered Rat with its frame, taking 3 pulse bolts to the back. It didn't fall. Door unlocked. They surged inside. The core chamber was unlike the rest of the station. A cathedral of black steel and scarlet glass. A massive throne of bone-white alloy hovered above a pit filled with charred bodies. And on the throne sat Malviction. He stood slowly. His form was tall, robed in deep crimson. His face bore the burn marks of old war scars. His eyes were artificial, silver and inhuman. Commander Voss, he said. Your reputation precedes you. Humanity's favorite monster. Aaron stepped forward, blade steady. You killed my children. Malvik smiled. I've killed many. But yours were for the future. He tapped a console. A low hum began. The room shimmered. Unit 07 faltered. My amplifiers are older than your race, Malvik said. They tear the mind before the body. Dahlia screamed, gripping her head. Rat collapsed, blood leaking from his ear. Aaron dropped to one knee, vision blurring. Malvik descended, steps slow and measured. I will dissect the madness from you, Voss. And I will burn the earth not with fire, but with understanding. Aaron reached for his sidearm, and collapsed. Darkness closed in. Pain came first. Not the kind that screamed, but the kind that whispered, low, gnawing, inescapable. Aaron Voss opened his eyes to darkness, throat dry, limbs heavy. His body throbbed with invisible fractures, every breath a slow rebellion. He lay in a pit. A real one. The light above flickered crimson, casting long shadows over the piled remains of the dead. Dozens of them. Human Zalthian, others he didn't recognize. The stench of scorched flesh hung thick in the stale air. Something crunched beneath his shoulder, a small skeletal arm, charred but unmistakably human. His stomach clenched. He sat up, teeth grinding against the pain. Broken ribs. Dislocated shoulder. But he was alive. Malvik hadn't finished him. Not yet. Above the pit, the Inquisitor's voice echoed. "You look comfortable down there," Malvikjan said, walking along the catwalk overhead. His red robes dragged behind him like spilled blood. "It's a fitting place for your kind, among the failures. The forgotten." Aaron said nothing. He rolled to his knees, coughing hard. "You're lucky, Commander," Malvik continued. "My ancestors would have vaporized your species. But I wanted to understand it. That chaos. That cruelty you carry." He gestured to the walls, where neurofeeds blinked, memories stolen from captured humans. "I studied your kind. You break, then rebuild into something worse. That cycle ends today." Aaron stood slowly, every muscle protesting. Malvik smiled. "Yes. Stand. One last act of defiance before irrelevance." A groan came from Aaron's left. Beneath a slab of scorched plating, he spotted a small rib, jagged, curved. A child's. No longer than his forearm. He picked it up, turning it slowly in his hand. A voice echoed in his mind, his daughter's, barely a whisper. "Be brave, Daddy." He gripped the bone tight, knuckles widening. Malvik descended on a lift platform, arms outstretched. "I will extract every neuron from your skull. Dissect your instincts like equations. Reduce humanity to parts one can discard." He stepped off the platform. "Say goodbye to your myth, Vas. The Boogeyman dies today." Aaron lunged. He moved with no warning, no cry. Just raw speed. The rib bone flashed upward, slicing across Malvik's cheek. The Inquisitor stumbled back, surprised, not by the injury, but by the audacity. "You!" Aaron struck again. The bone plunged into Malvik's side, breaking through his robes and synthetic muscle. The Inquisitor roared, swinging his arm wide, catching Aaron and slamming him into the wall. Metal dented. Bones cracked. But Aaron didn't fall. He surged forward, grabbing Malvik's head with one arm, jamming the jagged rib through the artificial eye socket. Malvik screamed, high and inhuman. They toppled together, thrashing in the pit. Hands gripped, tore, clawed. Aaron's teeth clenched so tight his jaw threatened to break. Blood, thick and black, spilled across the bones. "I buried my children with my hands," Aaron growled through gritted teeth. "You don't study that. You earn it." With one final motion, he drove the rib through Malvik's neck. The body spasmed once. Then stilled. Silence returned. Not the sterile kind. A different silence. Heavy. Final. Aaron dropped the bone and staggered upright, chest heaving. His hands trembled. His vision blurred. Above the pit movement. Dahlia. She leaned over the edge, bleeding from her scalp. "You alive down there?" Aaron nodded once. "Malvik's not." She tossed the rope. "Good," she muttered. "Because we're out of time." The blast charges in the research sector were seconds from detonation. Rat's console showed a countdown he hadn't been able to stop before his death. Aaron reached it first, crouching by Rat's broken body. His friend's face was peaceful now. Blood crusted under his nose. "Good work, Rat," he said quietly. "Go rest." Unit 07 reappeared, limping slightly, armor scorched but functional. It said nothing, just waited. The three of them moved through the station's collapsing halls. Fire spread through the lower levels, explosions rocking the foundations. Servitor drones screamed over failing systems. The screams of remaining personnel filled the background. They made it to the hangar in time. Their shuttle detached as Karzan Theta folded in on itself, the core imploding with a sunburst of energy. Flames swallowed its spires. Whole libraries, laboratories, and military nodes vanished in seconds. One moment, it was a fortress moon. The next, only ash. Hours later. Earth. A crowd gathered at the memorial site overlooking the Lake of Echoes, once the resting place of several colony ships destroyed mid-flight. The air was crisp. Silent. A new name was added to the wall. Lieutenant Milo Avers. Dahlia stood nearby, eyes hidden behind her visor. Unit 07 remained still behind her, quiet. Deactivated. Aaron knelt before the wall, tracing names with one finger. His children's were among the earliest. He didn't cry. The tears had left him years ago. A little girl walked up to him. She wore a school uniform. Pale skin, freckled cheeks. Wide eyes. "You're Commander Voss," she said. He looked at her. "You're the monster, right? The one who scares monsters?" Aaron paused. "I was." The girl tilted her head. "Are you done?" He stood. "No." He turned and walked away from the wall. The sun crested the horizon. On screens across alien-controlled sectors, a signal hijacked major frequencies. A voice, recorded cold, echoed in every tongue. "The Boogeyman lives. Baba Yaga walks. The debt is not paid. But the collector is coming." Governors resigned. Military outposts cut transmissions. In hidden corners of the empire, children whispered new nursery rhymes. And in the shadows, humanity began to build again, quiet, determined, and never forgetful.